بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول المسدد المحمود الأحمد الشفيع المذنبين خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين أبو القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من يوم هذا إلى يوم الدين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum. If there are other children outside, I think we'll bring them in and we'll talk about some interesting things about Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the One who created the universes, and every time we turn around, we find out more details about new reflections that are coming, the changes. Some of the ahadith of Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam are saying before the end of time, people from other planets will be coming here and will be going to other planets. And we see this happening. Actually, there is a whole group which is working in Europe, and they have captured some of the sounds coming from other planets already. And the dramatic changes that are coming in. One of the things that is attributed to our Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam, someone came in front of the Prophet's grandson, the first grandson, and said that, Yabna Rasulullah, O son of the Prophet, look at the hadith, look at the sword which is so powerful. So the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam says, I will tell you what is more powerful in reality. He says, more powerful than the sword, than the steel, is the fire that melts the steel. More powerful than the fire is the water which puts off even the fire. And more powerful than water is the cloud that gives the water. And the Imam says, more powerful than the cloud is the angel which drives the cloud from place to place. And he says, more powerful than the angel is the angel of death, which will bring the death even to that angel. And more powerful than death, Imam says, is the amr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which causes even death to die. There will be no death when Allah wants. So the Imam says, don't just look at the outside and think that the sword is powerful. There are many things much more powerful than that. And this is how they used to explain. And we always talk about the Prophet being very kind. Definitely he was very kind, there's no doubt about it. But the question is that, is he kind at all the times? When someone came in and complained to the Prophet about Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, the Prophet was visibly angered. He moved away his face. He says, no one has a right to say anything against Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. He is my successor, he is my Khalifa. And the same thing we saw when Imam Hassan alayhi salam was there, and they came in Kufa, and the Imam handed over the worldly government. The Imam says, this government has got no importance to me. Imam Ali alayhi salam said the same thing. When they talked about the government, they say, how come he does not fight for the government? Imam says, this government is worse than the shoe that I am mending, worse than the sneeze of the goat. Imam says, this worldly government is not important to us. It keeps on changing. They are saying America will be split into 6 different parts by next year. The whole person who predicted the Russian, and it's all there in the news. He says it will split in 6 parts. Some China will take, some Canada will take, some will be taken by Mexico, some will go back to Britain. And he says, I predicted about Russia. He says, I'm a Russian, but I predicted that this is going to happen. And he says, it's always difficult to imagine that. But whenever I went to Hajj after the destruction of Russia, people used to ask, when will America be dismembered into different states? Because this keeps on changing. There's nothing which is stationary. And that's why when Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam handed over the government, the worldly government, he gave it away. And that's where the Imam said, the people came to him and they said, we want to hear you speaking. So the people thought, because he has handed everything over, he will be very mild-mannered and very calm. Instead of the khutbah of Imam Hassan is so amazing. he said, the Muawiyah was sitting right there in front. He was the king of that time. He was one of the most corrupt of the rulers. And he's sitting there. Imam Hassan al-Islam stands up. When he stands and talks in the tone of Bani Hashim, everyone is amazed because of the language that he's using. And then Imam turns to Muawiyah and says, do you remember the time in Khandaq when your father was sitting on the camel and you were driving the camel and your brother Yazid was coming in the back, because Yazid is a brother of Muawiyah also. So he says, and the Prophet says, Lanat on all of you. The Prophet says, may Allah curse all of you. And these people were bewildered. They said, this is the king. He can kill anyone he wants. And the Imam is saying in front of him, because we are giving the impression that Imam Hassan al-Islam was very mild-mannered and very calm. There is no difference between Imam Hassan al-Islam and Imam Hussain al-Islam. They are all the same. All our Imams are the same in knowledge, in taqwa, in shuja'at, bravery. All the Imams are the same. Not only Hazrat Ali al-Islam used to fight. We know all the things that he used to do. There is a series that are coming now in Britain. It's there in Arabs already, the 99. There are 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to depict each name, they are making a personality. The first one they have done is Jabbar. There's a person, like the kids here have Superman and I don't know what, Spider-Man, all kinds of them. It's comics, like the comic characters, they're making Jabbar. But then the doctor from Kuwait, he's very smart. He says, we cannot depict all the 99 names, so I'll leave one alone. And we all know what that name is. Ali, he will leave alone. He says, I don't want to go against that. So he's making it, it's in Europe now. They are playing in the TV. So they are replacing the comics that are being done by the kids, which is a very good idea. This should have been done a long time back. Rahim and Kareem, all kinds of Allah's designations and names and attributes they are taking and making characters of it. It'll be interesting to show. When someone asked Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam for a piece of bread, he asked for a piece of bread. I said, I need a piece of bread. And the Imam is ready to travel. All camels are ready to go. So someone comes and tells Imam Ali alayhi salam, the bread, they're all loaded in the camel. Imam says, give the camel away. They said, there are so many camels there. 50 to 70 camels are there. We don't know where it is. Imam says, give all the camels to him for one piece of bread. And Khambar, one of his servants, was holding the reins of the camel. As soon as he heard the Imam says, give all the camels, he moved his hand away. And someone asked, why did you do that? He says, if someone said to Imam Ali, Khambar is holding the camels, he says, give Khambar away also. Khambar is gone also. For one piece of bread. That's how our Imams used to do. And the same way Allah does. It's very difficult to understand that. And that's why when the dua we are doing today, we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything. And some are like, we are all sitting. Alhamdulillah, we have had long hours of fasting. Long hours of fasting. And mashallah, I think everyone is fasting for a long time, except for the youngsters. They are fasting also. But after the fast, all we did was, alhamdulillah, that we said Bismillah and alhamdulillah. We don't realize how many processes are taking place in our stomach. How many things are happening. Each piece of bread, each piece of rice is going. This has got to go to the brain, this has got to go to the leg, this has got to go to this. And someone is there deciding. And this is the greatness of Allah. We just say thanks, but we don't realize. The youngsters should look at this. It's a very important thing. How many processes take place when you just eat. And Allah gives us strength because of that. And that's why when Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, when someone mentioned that we are made of 4 things, fire, water. Can someone tell me what the Aristotle used to say? 4 things we are made of. Fire, earth, sand, and air. So Imam says, how can we be made of this? These are compounds itself. Imam says we are made of 4 elements: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen. And there are 8 trace elements. And there are 8 much less than that. And this they are studying in France. In France they wrote the whole book, Superman in Islam, that book came out. Talks about this. The first khutbah of our Imam, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam,